Things are going to start happening to me now.
You've done all the reading. You're a scholar. You're a professor. You've done all the reading. You've done the intellectual heavy lifting.
More or less, eat shit and die.
You wouldn't know a fact if it begged you all night long.
Want to give the wrong impression because I am very high.
Ran up behind him with a hatchet. Smash, smash, smash.
Yeah. Care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody, to the Libertarian Podcast Review. This is Tyler, Dickie Walnuts, and it's, I know it's not Cinco de Mayo, but this music really feels like it's going to hit the spot.
Cheers,
right.
Let's party.
Let's party. Welcome, everybody. This is Tyler Yonke, Libertarian Podcast Review. I'm just going to say, we got Dickie Walnuts. Dickie will get to you just a second here. In case you didn't know, basically the Tom Woods week is basically concluded. 7 days ended today. I'm putting out one last episode 8, where it's just a conclusion. It's like 30 minutes. We break down all the little things, but I have categories and I rate Tom. Dickie, what's been your favorite part of that Tom Woods week?
You bastard! You know I didn't watch. No, I liked. I actually found this interesting. I don't know if I told you or not, but there was the Sinclair's The Jungle. Yeah. I didn't realize it was all bullshit. Watch. We got taught in high school that it was true. I did watch some of it. Yeah, I actually watched some on Sunday and fell asleep. Or I think that one was Sunday, whichever day that was. But yeah, I didn't know that about The Jungle, that it was basically all bullshit. And even Roosevelt was like, this is stupid. And it still gets cited and upheld.
Yeah, it's important to know those kind of things. I mean, to kind of push back against them. Upton Sinclair, The Jungle, like you said, the meat packing plant. What was interesting about that interview that I played off of Tom there is the simple little deduction. It reminds me of, you watch something online, and I had that Nick Sarwark. He was trying to cut down a tree. I don't know if you saw that. Or you see someone's filming this. It's on film. So what you see, I've seen these videos on Facebook and TikTok, or not TikTok, because I don't have that, but Instagram. It's like, oh my, some person goes up to a homeless man and they do some amazing act to them, and I'm like, someone is filming this. This is obviously staged. And when you just start to think about a staged issue, everything seems to unravel a bit, and that's The Jungle. It's like, okay, well, where did these people go? You grind up humans in a meatpacking plant. Where is the missing persons there? Yeah. Let's talk to their families. And there's no such thing.
Yeah, if it was such a rampant issue and multiple people had died, I mean, you can't find one person or two people that had families that were not asking questions. You mean to tell me they were all orphans, or the third or fourth Irish kid that got sent to America because their family was starving? Like, come on.
Right. Or, hey, here's the biggest liability, personal injury type lawsuits, wrongful death lawsuit in the nation. Here's the case law for it. Nope, not nothing like that.
Even back then, and like how you said, how some of the meatpacking plants were like, oh, now we get free inspection. That's cool.
Yes. So there.
So
look, in case you don't get it, thank you for actually watching something. Okay, there's a lot of work.
I did. I think after that you covered Rush after that, and I was listening to that, and then I dozed off. But that was pretty interesting to me, how they were talking about just their beliefs and politics and stuff.
Yeah. So, and by the way, 2,300 plus episodes. Tom Woods. I went through almost all of them. I listened to basically all of them, but I put out a whole week of it. So go check that out. And maybe push it online. Just Tom hasn't acknowledged a single tweet I've done with tagging him in there. So far, not so good. But I did get some DMs, some people that said, hey, I've been looking to kind of go back through this, and I really appreciate the work you've done. So I'm just touting myself here. Okay, let's talk about you a little bit. Dickie Walnuts, who are you? Why are you here on my show?
Well, I'm a degenerate piece of shit. I guess that's why I'm friends with you and on the show.
Right. Andy.
That about covers it. No, I'm your beer review partner. For those who are new, I know we haven't done one in many months. I've been sober for a while, so just took a little time off. I'm the former producer of Tower Gang. I was disgracefully fired because I was too busy in the pub every night when they were doing shows and not clipping them. And so
how'd that go? Did you
yeah,
you didn't contact me about any kind of lawsuit like wrongful termination?
I should. You know what? Looking back, because that was honestly a nasty divorce for me. So I think I could use your talents. I don't know if you have a Florida wing, a Florida office, but you should. Maybe your daughter can set it up when she's down here.
She, by the way, you don't want that. She's just there visiting. So yeah, so let's break into that a little bit. So what was your God honest expectations with this Tower Gang stuff? Because you were doing some clips for them. I know Spud was doing some. And then suddenly a minor, these are minor attracted people, these maps on this show, they suddenly took on a minor. And how do you feel about
these Hispanics, man? You got to watch out for them. You know, Top and Jose, those dirty Latins. They just had to set their eyes on those little kids, man. I have no idea what happened other than the fact that my quality might have been lacking. My quality to creativity level does not match up. Let's just say that.
Right.
I do everything on my phone still because.
Okay.
Sorry,
well, that could be a problem. I do think that, like, I tell Andy, I'm like, okay, I need a producer sometimes, and he took the reins, did a whole kill pod, kind of like got the people, got the guests, got the main people, and it worked out fine. But otherwise, it's me doing a lot of work, and it sounds like to me you just really weren't helping. Like
I wasn't doing shit, bro.
Yeah. Okay. So
I wasn't helping like him. No, I mean, I was honestly just clipping the shows and stuff, which Top does now. He usually clips just big segments of it. I was doing like mashups and things.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones I did was I think it was 50 episodes in for Dave Smith.
I think it was 100.
It was no, I did 50. I didn't do 100. 100 would have been crazy. But I had a clip from every episode. That was pretty fun.
You didn't because wait, maybe you did because I think I was on there a few times early.
Yeah, I did. I had every one that was on YouTube. I think they took yours. Yours got taken down for COVID misinformation. Or
no, something. It wasn't COVID misinformation. It was Reed.
Oh no.
Talking about like either January 6th or it might have been before that, or like the election stolen or something.
Brandy Nook,
yeah, it could have been that. He fucking nuked us.
Fictional event.
By the way, I just want to get out in front of this. We had a little in our group chat today. Ashton used to date Clint. We're just going off here. I was a hater early on. I didn't have a good thing. As a matter of fact, it was in our close where she's like, "Okay, goodbye," and I made a mashup with Ralphie.
I made one too
on the Simpsons.
Do you remember?
Yeah. I think so, but mine was Ralphie, like his heart, where you can see where he dies, and she leaves.
I remember
that, right? And I was a hater, and then I went on the show, and I openly mocked her, and she laughed, and then she got in my DMs. I guess whatever. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
it was funny. Yeah, something about pride or something.
Okay. Oh,
hello, Jose.
He says,
I'm glad he's here.
She shall not be named. Don't
Hi,
need
JC.
to invoke that craziness. Hi, JC. Yeah. No, you do need to invoke
Tyler.
it.
I'm with Jose on this one. Even though I was just talking shit about him 5 minutes ago.
Okay. So
also,
let's get into.
Shout out to Jose for getting on Tripoli's show. I'm sorry, I'm on a delay. I didn't mean to cut you off, but shout out to Jose for going on Sam Tripoli's show with Eddie Bravo. That was pretty cool. We'll have to check that out later.
I did not watch that yet. How was it? Have you watched it yet?
I haven't watched it. I don't know. Is it up yet? It might not be up. I know he was saying something. I glanced at it in the chat.
I'll check
He's
it
gonna
out.
show up in a dog costume.
Right. I'll check it out too. Yeah, I was saying, Jose was talking about how Sam was like losing, didn't remember even what the show was going to be about. And I'm like, that's how he keeps up on all his conspiracies. He doesn't remember. He does remember all the facts, which he actually doesn't. So it makes it feel like everything's new all the time, probably,
That's what I'm saying. Like every time you say like an entry level conspiracy to him, he gets super excited about it as if it's like the first time he's heard of it. It's probably not the first time, but it's probably like in his mind the second time at least, because he forgets so much stuff. So Jose said it's not up yet unless you pay for his stuff. I'm not paying. Okay. Sorry. I'm waiting for Jose to give me the bootleg.
Right. Do you pay for any content, or are you just a moocher?
I pay for Break the Cycle. I pay for the Confessionals podcast with Tony Merkel. I pay for the member shows. That's a pretty cool show.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that? You don't know if it's a cool show, or you don't know about the show?
Either.
Okay. Well, I know Top, I think, mentioned it in his AI thread, but it's basically he's big into Bigfoot. He's big into Dogman, UFOs, Nephilim stuff, mostly paranormal experiences, plus some conspiracies, but mostly like paranormal level.
So is Top's going to do a conspiracy show? What do you think about this? What's your take?
Dude, I'm excited. I've been waiting forever for that. About time.
Right. I am too. I think he'll be just fine. I saw him on with Pete. He was on the Dick Show. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know what that guy's name is.
The Dick Show. I'm going to sue.
It wasn't, I wasn't impressed. That guy was not that funny to me. I thought Top was overly good, and they couldn't keep up, or they didn't know what to do. So then they just kind of looked stupid. It is, in my opinion. I don't know.
Did they not know who he was, or what? Because I haven't seen it yet.
No, they brought him on, but they had him audio only. And then he's like, "Hey, you am I a video? What's happening?" They're like, "No." So they just kept him kind of behind the scenes, and he made some great comments, some really funny jokes, and it just kind of went right over their head, and they didn't really know what to do. Yeah, so it was stellar. Anyway.
You have somebody in your background there, Tyler. Is that your wife?
That's my wife. She's fine. She lives here too, so we let that happen.
That's nice. Let her out of the basement. I'm happy for her.
We don't have a basement. It's California. I grew up with basement. Do you have basements there in Florida?
I don't know what a basement is either. I just made that up because I thought it was a thing Californians had.
No, because I grew up in the Northwest and I lived in Colorado. Basements in both places, but here in California with the earthquakes, they don't build them.
It makes sense. We have them because we're right at sea level. We don't have them because we're at sea level. So
gotcha. So everything, you drowned them out.
I've seen one house with a basement, but it was on a slope. That's why.
Oh, like a daylight. Yeah. What are you drinking then?
Right now, this is a gay ass beer, Sea Dog Blue Paw, ale with natural blueberry flavor added. It's 4.7% alcohol, so basically water. And tastes pretty good, actually. Be nice if I was at the beach or something, but not gonna happen this week.
So I've got I was telling you earlier, this is a Stone IPA. It's called Delicious IPA. It's a 7.7. It's gluten reduced, so Andy would probably melt through the internet. By the way, we can.
That's not a Coors Light. What the heck?
All right, we can talk about why he's not here if you want to later. But I've had some issues with hazies. I have them, my whole face just breaks out. So if I still want to drink, I've got to find something, gay or not. I've got to figure it out. So here we are.
Speaking of gay, I've got this other one. I got my damn thingy stuck in the top of it. Wicked Weed Funkatorium Bourbon Barrel Aged American Sour Ale fermented with cherries. It is sour as shit, and it's 8.2% alcohol. It's like drinking a fucking sour wine with whiskey in it or something. That sounds
horrible. Why do you do that?
It's intense. It's so bad that it's good.
Okay.
So I just kind of do it. I don't know.
Gotcha. Wait, Andy is out patrolling tonight.
He stopped patrolling.
He's going to trivia night. No, he's got an issue with internet, being able to have internet access. So I think he's in some sort of power struggle with his mom. That's just
with his mother.
Just leave it. Tell me about your internet, because it seems to kind of suck. Is it your computer or your internet? What's going on?
It's mostly, it's both. I have like the only internet that works out here by the beach is Cox, and it sucks Cox. And my computer also sucks because I've had it since senior year of high school. Okay. Good thing I'm staying in. I think this says that was 2016. So it's a 7-year-old computer. So it's a piece of shit. So, and I haven't been motivated to get a new computer, but I will soon because I'm going back to school. So
tell me about that.
Yeah, it's a mixture. School.
Tell me about why going back to school. What's going on there?
Because I'm retarded. So basically, I was trying to get just entry-level tech jobs at physical therapy clinics nearby. And some of the bigger clinics still have vaccine mandates, even here in Florida. I mean, it's on the books. They keep saying they're going to take it off, but it's still there. And that's a few of them. And then the rest of them, apparently they hired all their summer techs. I have a degree in pre-physical therapy. It's a bachelor's, but that's something you would have to go to PT school right afterwards to get your doctorate of physical therapy. And I do not have the GPA for that. So nor do I have the patience or desire to go to grad school right now. So,
what would you
I'm
be
going back
to
get my
for?
associates. Get my associates for a PTA. So it's kind of backwards, but it's actually a pretty common thing that people do that are trying to get in PT school. If they don't have a super high GPA, then a lot of times they just go for another 2 years, get their associates, and be a PTA, which still makes pretty good money. So my dog has a sock. Hey, give me that.
Wife's gone, and he got your sock. Let's check this out. I've got a few stories for us to go through. What do you think of these two ladies? Marjorie Taylor Greene calls Boebert a little bitch on the House floor.
Yeah, I kind of want to see him fuck. Just kidding. No, I don't. I used to kind of like Marjorie Taylor Greene because she would just say some of the craziest shit, and she still does. I just think it's a little more and more retarded. Like, she had my heart with the Jewish space laser thing. But I got no chance now because she got plowed by Alex Stein. So, like, there's nothing you can do after that. Like,
He claims that didn't happen.
He claims it didn't happen. Then you know he did it.
Fine.
I like Bo Bear. Doesn't she carry a gun to work?
She does. She's going through a divorce as well. Yeah, they're both kind of. I mean, I think Boebert is hotter than Marjorie Taylor Greene, but
I think so.
They both just annoy the crap out of me. And
I think Marjorie's got to be more athletic, though, right?
Could be. I mean, she was lifting or doing some sort of pull-ups. I mean, she's crazy. She's got retard strength, I think is what happens.
Yeah, you know it.
But
you probably got that grip.
Right. She was right, like a gorilla giving it to you. She was on Tim Pool with Massey, and that's when I realized that he's pretty smart, and he was talking about some things, and he had some concepts, and he's got like a principled base, and then she was like in agreement, but yet she has such a low level explanation of things, and it's like, it's not just woman, she's drug along, so she has no original thoughts of her own, and I know people get excited about her, but I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me.
She's got to be the right wing Kamala. That's how she got in, right? It's got to be something like that.
Possibly. So anyway, they have this feud here. A feud been boiling between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert for months. It finally reached a new level on Wednesday. A messy feud between two MAGA world's biggest stars burst into public view on Wednesday when Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia and Rep. Lauren Boebert of Colorado. Greene called her a little bitch. Oh my God, to her face on the floor of the U.S. House of Reps. An angry exchange came as the two lawmakers had been swiping at each other over their competing resolutions to impeach President Joe Biden. It's so stupid. But tensions came to a head on Wednesday after Boebert leveraged a procedural tool to force a vote on her own impeachment resolution within days, undercutting Greene, who had offered her own resolution, but not with a procedural advantage of forcing a vote. So let's take a look at this. Actually, I don't know if I can do the...
Take your conversations to the back, off the floor.
Just talking.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman...
We should make up what they're
order,
saying
please.
Here. Oh, yeah.
I need to do that.
Alex had a...
You got to rub that chicken.
And then it was over there in the floor. Right over
For
there.
what purpose does the gentlewoman from Florida...
I'm not that gentle,
Mrs. Lorna,
bitch.
seek recognition?
He shot it that far.
You shot it that far.
You
Anyway,
you can't take that pimp on a blimp.
Right. Anyway, that's that whole deal.
I need to do this.
I
I gotta put a little voiceover to it. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think those two? One. Okay, so they're gonna both be single. What's your? Which one would you take on a date?
Bear.
Okay. Which one
we
would you
could show
just
each
have
other
for
our
a
guns.
weekend?
Oh, for a weekend? Marjorie probably has more drugs. I guarantee you she's got all kinds of good stuff I can take. Probably more alcohol. She also is probably down to shoot guns while under the influence of both.
Okay.
And she's probably got, like I said, those grippy walls. So Bear had a bunch of kids. Like, who has more kids?
I don't know if Taylor has any green Marjorie has any kids at all. I know Bear has a few.
Yeah.
I think she's newly divorced, so that could be a few things. One, that could be like she's ready to really be freaky, or she's not quite ready to be freaky. It depends on where she's at there.
Yeah, I don't think she's ready yet. So for like a date, like we're gonna go to a restaurant, I'm taking Bear. She'll look nicer. I think she is overall prettier.
Yes.
Yeah, but for a weekend here in Florida, yeah, Marjorie, let's go.
In Florida, some bath salts, some Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Dude.
and you're good to go. Right. We've got a few people here. Bear would be a better date. MTG would be a better lay. I don't know. I think it would be.
That's what I'm saying. I think so.
Did you ever hear the Mr.
See,
T
that's the
thing?
thing.
Go ahead.
Bear is prettier, so she probably can't fuck as good as Gorilla Face. There's no way.
You know, that used to be a thing. I really think, and then as the world is degenerated, and we've just had more degenerates and women in general. I found that when I was dating, that wasn't the truth anymore. That they all wanted to be such horrors that it really changed life for the better. So I don't know about that anymore. There was a good old what's his name? Eddie Murphy did a whole skit, and it was not a skit, but it was in one of his Raw or one of the Delirious maybe. About Mr. T, and it would be like, put it in my ass and squeeze my butt cheeks. That's what I imagine Marjorie Taylor Greene like. There's a chance she's a dude. There's just something about her is a little sketchy. Or she's had
got
so
a
much
strong
hormones.
jaw and some big old shoulders. Yeah, right now Bean is humping McGregor. It's pretty hilarious. I'm watching the show right now.
Oh, jeez.
This poor kid's getting pegged. Anyway, but
Benzo says
if Marjorie Taylor Greene was a dog, it would be Bear.
a pit bull, right?
Oh, she'd be a pit bull. Yeah. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is not as good looking. Yeah, she has those strong jaws for endurance.
Right. MTG is white Michelle Obama. Could be. They're all actually AOC.
Oh, no.
Put the AOC in the
that
mix
far.
there. What's your opinion of her?
I'll do that. I know you hate on AOC. You say she's work hot.
Yes.
I call her functional. Very, very functional. She's got the horchata milkers. I also have a type, and that's Latin women, so that gives her a point as well. She's got some nice crazy eyes that will probably kill you in your sleep, but also suck the eternal soul out of you. Not gonna lie, I'd put her over the two white women. There, I said it.
Okay.
Is this live?
Interesting.
Yes, unfortunately.
Hi, Minder. I have a hard time going away from anything that's than my wife now because just dating and crazy and up and down and whatever, and I have such a fun time with my wife that's like it's crazy, but that's like my ideal now. And so these are all just AOC is, I get it. She's kind of cute, but once again, you're out and you have I don't know, the plethora of women are you've got Swimsuit Magazine, whatever it is. She's not going to even be an interest for you. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I want to know also how she can cook, because there's no way Marjorie can cook. Bo Bear, I think, probably can. She can probably give us some good home cooking. AOC, it could be either or, because I've seen some Hispanic bitches that like they were all about. Hey, shut the fuck up. They were all about, you know, like looking good and shit.
It's an issue.
I know it's always helicopters or dogs barking or whatever.
Right.
But like I've seen some Hispanic chicks that were really pretty, like, but they just wanted to go to like modeling school or whatever, and they didn't cook. But the rest of them, like their abuelitas taught them pretty well, and they could throw down in the kitchen. So if AOC is the latter, which statistically speaking is more likely, however, she is in politics, so I doubt it. But if she can cook, then that puts her another point ahead.
Dickie brought up AOC. I think she's trash. There's no way she cooks. Yeah, whatever.
She could be a shitty lay. I'm going based on like, you know, based on the spread, based on the percentage of Latin women. I don't know. Sue me. It's a numbers game. Right.
Okay. So speaking of crazy, I thought this is we'll play this here. Hang on a second here. This is one of my favorite things to do now. Play Fetterman or Biden just being completely insane. So let's play this here. I don't know if you've seen this. Can you hear this?
President.
Is it the one where Fetterman was just rambling? That doesn't narrow it down.
A little over a year ago, the president and I were standing right next to each other at a collapsed bridge in western Pennsylvania, a bridge that I drove over just the night before with my young son. And he showed up with just hours after that.
Why does he dress like that?
There. And he promised to make sure that any resources that they needed and any help and support. And guess what? That bridge was rebuilt less than a year, well in front of time. And now I'm standing next to the president again, next to a collapsed bridge here. And he is here to commit to work with the governor.
That's my senator.
The delegation to make sure that we get this fixed quick, fast as well too. This is a president that is committed to infrastructure. Yeah, and then on top of that, the jewel
infrastructure,
kind of a law of the inflation bill that is going to make sure bridges all across the
infraction bill.
Rebuilt. It's a pleasure to be here and to introduce my friend Congressman Boyle Bile.
So what's crazy about that is, you know, he got done and Biden's like understood every word. That's
he's like, you're speaking my language, motherfucker.
two people throwing ebonics at each other. They're like totally legit. He called me a collapsed bridge. I understood what he was saying. Infrastructure.
That's exactly how 8-year-old girls talk.
Right. It makes sense. I don't know why there's a problem. So there was a tweet someone came out with, and they're like, look, that's just I felt bad for these people. I feel bad for the fact that they have mental problems. What's your take on that?
I don't feel bad for most of them. Fuck them. They make me glad there's a hell. Like, seriously, I couldn't give less of a shit about Fetterman. I hope he suffers, except for the fact that while he's suffering, he's gonna have to keep fucking us over. Same with Biden. Like, everybody's like, oh, it's elder abuse, they should let Biden retire. I'm like, you know what? Fuck him. Make him have to work and like hate his life right now or whatever he's doing. Like, he's made a lifetime of just fucking us all. So
I've made this comment many times, and I'm like, I don't take any of your.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't take any of your sympathy stuff. He's got a wife. She's a doctor, and she pushed him to do this. Same with Fetterman. His wife pushed him to do this. And at this point, what's going on at your house? I don't even understand all the noise there. This is almost as good as when I had Phil Bishop. It's fine. It's as good as like when I had Phil Bishop on, and Phil Bishop decided to do the interview in his right next to where his wife was cooking, and then right outside the window where they had an illegal alien mowing the lawn, all at the same time. And it was the most insane and he acted like it just keep on keeping on. That's okay.
Chad, that's what I would do. I'd be like, okay, so what? I got a fucking warrant out for my arrest and they're busting the door down, but I got to get this podcast in.
Right. Yeah, so I don't have any sympathy for these people because, one, people voted for him. Two, their families put him up. I would never do that to my father, anybody in my family. I think I would have a serious issue with them doing that. But they're so selfish and disgusting that they put him up. So you deserve to be mocked mercilessly at this point. I don't know if I even said that word right.
I don't believe they're even like totally human. So there's that. So, that takes away some of the pity I have for them.
Okay. That's rough. Speaking of which, we're just going to keep, while we're drinking, we're going to keep going through go through some more videos here. I've got, this is Brett Baer. He had Trump, an interview with Trump. Let's play this while we drink.
Is a big part of that spending, COVID. Do you have regrets about how you handled that? Because some of your opponents are now running these loops of where you say you shut down the country.
We had to artificially close our country. We did just the right thing. We closed it down. We understood the disease. We closed the country down. We studied it. We learned about it. Some people wish we never closed it down. We did the right thing. Everything we did was right.
And do you have regrets about doing that?
I gave the governors the options. For instance, Henry McMaster of South Carolina, governor, great guy, great governor. He didn't shut it down. Tennessee didn't shut it down. South Dakota didn't shut it down. Georgia shut it down for a little while, but not much. They did a good job. 6 states that didn't shut down. It's a federalist system. I told all governors, you do what you want. You can shut it down or not. Florida, by the way, he shut it down tight. No highways, no beaches, no this.
But then pushed back pretty hard. He opened up. But is it fair to criticize him on that? Sure. He was credited. Is a big part of that spending.
Okay, what do you think of that?
Well, how long ago was that interview?
That was recent. I think
was that back?
Week.
That was recent. That's what I thought. I'm 100% sure if he were. Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure if he would have been given, or if he had a similar interview to that, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, before DeSantis was any threat to him whatsoever, he wouldn't have said that. I mean, he would have made his points about, I let the states decide, let the governors decide. He probably would have thrown Florida into the mix of, they're doing a good job. He didn't shut down for very long, that kind of shit. That's why he's probably going so hard on him. Because,
oh, yeah, it's all political.
Yeah, he did shut down, but, right afterwards, I'm not, letting him off the hook for it, but right afterwards, he was one of the, foremost governors of, not following through with the draconian bullshit. At least he was saying that,
Oh yeah, and like DeSantis as an example, yes, you can pinpoint like right away when everyone went crazy and there's like one Kristi Noem or there's only one governor that didn't do shit. Everyone else went crazy, but then immediately there's a bunch of states that are like pulled back. I mean, I remember people got to saying, all these deaths in Texas and Florida, it's gonna be crazy, just dead people everywhere, and that didn't be the case. But I also remember, it was like when I went on Targeting the first time, we were talking about Trump, and I was like, if he had at all, stuck to his guns, if he wasn't so worried about being reelected, maybe he would have done something correct about COVID, and maybe he would have been reelected at that point. But instead, he sucked, like you just showed the clips where we're shutting it down. I don't know why he was always doing this.
Yeah, and he's still, I don't know what his position is now, if he's trying to quiet down on Operation Warp Speed, but for the longest time, he was, taking credit for the vaccine still. It's just amazing how when the vaccine rolled out, or at least Trump was talking about the vaccine, how all the Dems were like, no, I'm not taking Trump's vaccine. It's too early. It's the rush, blah, blah, blah. And once the power shift, I'm not surprised. I knew it was going to happen because they all have a retard hive mind.
Yeah.
But then he's getting bodied at his own rallies. People start booing him when he mentioned the vaccine, and now they love him again. That was a big conundrum. I was curious to see, especially among Florida residents, how they would react to DeSantis versus Trump, because most of the hardcore DeSantis fans were also, MAGA Trump people. So I think a lot of them are wanting. I think a lot of them are wanting DeSantis to remain governor and just Trump to just run for president. That's kind of how I am too. But I think Trump's attacking him right now. I think that's kind of stupid.
How do you think Trump and Ivanka get it on? What's the scenario? How does that work? Does he just tell her, tonight I'm going to build the most impressive wall between your pants, between your legs? What is going on there? Is he sweet talking her? Is she sweet talking him? And then what is it? What's the move? Is it lights on, lights off, under the covers?
There's no way the lights are on. At least not all of them. He probably dims the Mar-a-Lago chandeliers that are covered in gold, and she pulls the silk sheets over and she pretends to be into it. Okay, Donald, come in to the bed, Donald. And, he's like, okay.
I like it. I
gotta keep the suit on. He's over there. Maybe he's getting some doggy style, but when he's doing it, he's kind of lean forward, like with his back straight, and like so his
Benzo.
suit
Don't spoil our jokes. They're banging in this situation, and we're gonna figure out exactly how it's done.
She puts on the knee pads that have the presidential seal on them that she stole from when Clinton was in the White House, and he left in the office desk that nobody opened that drawer anymore because it was stuck shut somehow. They'd probably take those out. Maybe she kind of gives him like a pity blow, but oh yes, your hands are so big, gives him that kind of spiel. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Right.
I mean, all I gotta say is those bedrooms in Mar-a-Lago gotta be nice, and the sheets are probably like satin or whatever, so it at least gets her like to pretend to be in the mood. I don't know. Him, I don't think he gives a shit, but he's just like, I'm president of the United States. I'm the best president ever. I gotta do it. I gotta prove my dominance. She's in love with me still. I can imagine how that goes.
Yeah. Lights on, and you say lights off for that.
Ivanka. Well, we're talking about Ivanka, right? That's his daughter.
Oh, well.
Well, Then in that case, she's really into it.
By the way,
Melania.
like I care. They're
Ivana
all the
was
same
his
thing.
ex-wife who's dead. Yeah.
Right.
We're all Russian
Melania.
assets,
Melania. Tatra, I want the lights off. I don't want to see any of your belly. I don't know. I'm more of a. What I want? I don't know what she is. I'm the kind of person that's like, this is gonna happen. We're lights are gonna be not only lights on. It's gonna be as if someone's performing surgery here. I want that much light. That's my mood. Okay, that's what's happening.
Scalpel.
No, I'm just saying there might be a headlamp involved.
Get the cameras on, ceiling fan.
Right. If the government's going to spy on me in my bedroom, they're going to be able to see everything. And I'm going to be able to.
Turn the webcam on, everything, dude.
Yes, but I said Ivana. I said Ivanka. I think I said Ivanka. I was even wrong on that. It was his daughter.
You said Ivanka.
Yeah.
So what's worse, him fucking Ivana now or Ivanka now?
Well, Ivanka's now Jewish, so obviously her.
That's worse. Okay. The dead woman or the spiritually dead woman.
Right. And it's his daughter. Oh, it's his daughter. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You dated a Jewish woman before?
What? No.
You dated a Jewish woman. Okay. Just checking. I don't think
I don't speak to. No, I don't.
Okay. You played
soccer. The only time I've spoken to them is when I was waiting tables. So I would wait tables, and there would be tables of Jewish women, and I would go and ladies, is anything okay?
I roomed with a Jewish kid in college, and that wasn't the bad part about him. He was just really annoying, and his dad was an attorney, and he always talked about how his dad was an attorney. And at one point, I pulled him aside. I said, "Hey, Danny," I'm like, "Look, if you keep talking about your dad as an attorney, why don't you just say he's something? No, we don't always know. Why don't you say he's something respectable? Maybe he's a drug dealer. Just go with that." And he looked at me. He's like, "What?" I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Jose said you got the joke, soccer? Dickie. You played soccer, right?
Jose.
What was the joke? I didn't hear.
I was okay. It was when I said I used to wait tables a lot, and there would be a lot of Jewish women that would go to the restaurant, and I would go and say, "Is anything okay, ladies?"
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It took me.
You let it sit. It was painful. I was just like, all right.
No, I didn't. I didn't really pay much attention. Okay, so I appreciate that. Yes, you played soccer, right?
Yes.
Is there that much delay? Okay.
I played
Jose,
soccer.
I know. Okay, so we're gonna play a clip here. You're well aware of the women's U.S. soccer team, right?
Yeah, I used to like to watch them. They used to be pretty decent, entertaining to watch. Oh, this again? Okay, let's go.
Well, wait.
This is even more entertaining.
We'll go here. Do you know that they sued to have equal pay, and then they ended up settling it? So I mean, I'm kind of disappointed in that. So you didn't get a real good determination of what would actually happen. But while they were going through this in discovery, I think it was actually that on the whole they were actually making more, and then the settlement they had was actually not as good. Anyway, whatever. This Rapinoe chick with the purple hair. So check this out.
Very frustrating for us on the team, for women.
I don't know why there's music behind it, but there is.
To be feeling
sad
like
music.
they aren't getting paid what they should be.
Is that my girl, Kristen Press?
Ready? This message is for Ryan
Oh, yeah.
and Rob Macklin. One, you should be
They
here
mercy
right
rolled
now
him.
with your squad. Two, your team about to go down in North Carolina.
Who's that guy? I don't know who that is. He seems like a real douche.
I think he's a retired MLS player or NASL. I think.
Okay, so he's not even active.
He's well in his 40s. A lot of these guys are like in their 40s. Well, he might be an actor, but a lot of those players were either retired players or youth players against professionals.
Be careful. There's a shot and there's a goal. First goal for the keeper.
This is 3 minutes in.
Spin move here by Lloyd.
Oh, that was easy. And 10 minutes in.
I mean, what is the keeper doing? Like,
well, the defenders are just
on that angle. The one where they scored an angle. I mean,
four.
Trundle able to keep it with the left, and Trundle with his second goal.
I like how the women act like they're upset.
Yeah, so far so good in this game.
So far so good. Another goal.
5 goals.
Trundle.
Well, here's one thing I'm noticing with like the back line. It's not even the fact that they're not as good or as physical, which is obvious, but they're not even trying. Like that left back and that left center back on 2 of those goals, they were just kind of like hanging back. They were like 10 yards away from the winger. Like,
so what do you think that
are
is?
they tired already?
I noticed the physical thing as well, right? I mean, it's like basketball. There's no contact, but there's contact, and it's like positioning, boxing out type of thing. Very similar here of like being able to hold your position and just like body these chicks. So that's obviously happening, but and they're not used to that. So when you're saying there, are you saying that the women just weren't trying? Come on now, maybe it was their time of the month.
They're probably worn out. I mean, after the 3rd goal and they're trying to chase the dudes all over the place, they're probably going to be pretty worn out. I mean, even if you're in really good shape, if you're playing somebody who's, another level or 2 levels ahead of you, you're going to get, pretty tired by like halftime, which in their case, they're women, so they're tired in 10 minutes. So I don't know.
Okay. But what you're saying there would be like if you're running up and down the field. This is probably all just at one end. There's no way that it's up and down the field.
They're controlling it. Yeah. They're controlling it at the top of the other team's box for most of that time.
For the most part, everyone should be really fresh except for the goalie.
In that case, yeah. Unless, say the females, if they clear a ball and they just boot it out or something, then they're having to chase them back up the field the other way, which in a game like that I would assume.
Did you watch the whole game or any of it? Oh, okay, let's keep going here.
Trying to move around, and that's going to be a nice pass in a.
Oh, that's just murder right there. He's not even left-footed. He just that guy he knew before he even kicked it.
Fast pace. A lot of these guys have a lot of experience.
He's being so nice too.
Jarvis.
Yeah, 12-0.
I'm glad that they put the hammer down. They never gave any mercy goals. That's really nice.
Yeah, I mean they were probably just tired of hey, look, I don't even need a shower after this. Let's go get some beers. I'm tired of hearing them scream and complain.
Right.
They probably all are synced up on their time of the month, so it just smells like blood on the field.
Right.
I don't.
It's the way it is.
But it's pretty sad because it was. I mean, this has been settled years ago. This has happened multiple times where they'll do exhibition games warming up for a World Cup or for CONCACAF or something, and they'll play an under 15 MLS squad, and there's 14-year-old boys just cooking them, and they're beating them 6-0, 7-0. It's y'all still want to talk shit. I think they also at one point, I don't know if it's still the case, but according to how certain FIFA tournaments worked, like men's World Cups versus women's World Cup, I think that the women's team got a bigger percentage of the overall money than the men did. It could have been because of maybe fewer countries present, but still, like, they were getting benefits that the U.S. men's team weren't getting, but the men were just getting paid more money because obviously the World Cup is huge for men's, and women's World Cup, nobody gives a shit.
By the way, I heard a breakdown, like one of these, Ricada type, and I say type because it's one of the guys, Civil Unrest, I think, did a whole breakdown of the lawsuit. And you're right, benefits wise, but his point, and I don't remember what it was, but in the overall scheme of what they got compared to when, the bargaining and everything that they had agreed to, was they were getting, decent pay. And it's just that they happened to agree to whatever the terms were. And then they were complaining about it. So whatever.
I want to see how much Megan Rapinoe makes just in speaking engagements and other bullshit alone,
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be a ton.
Ryan Reynolds' team. Just to be honest, men are better than women at literally everything that they can both do, including being women now.
Apparently, man, like that's a whole new thing because who was the one on Twitter that was saying that it was this one chick that looks kind of like Mr. Beast's friend. It's like trans women are more special than cis women because there's fewer of us. It's like, well, that is true. There's fewer of you, and it's dwindling by the minute. But like, I guess it makes you more special in a way.
I mean, okay.
Well, what kind of special are we talking about? I don't know.
He said JC said it was Clay Travis. Yeah, but remember, like Jenner, he, whatever, Caitlyn, became Woman of the Year for like the first 6 months of being a woman. So solid stuff.
And now she hates like the rest of the community there, probably because he's like, fuck, I thought I was special. I thought I was the only one. Now everybody wants to do it.
But
I got bored of dominating men's sports.
Right. I mean, Bruce Jenner, by the way, was on the TV show Chips. I don't know if you ever saw that. And
the cop show.
Yeah, he was on there at one point. But look, I actually think that Bruce / Caitlyn feels that this is how they should be. So, dick chopped off and that's the way it is, but it's about them, right? Rather than about a movement. So that's I think the difference you see with Caitlyn and others, which is, okay, this is what I want, but I'm not telling everyone else you have to accept it. I'm just being me. Cause I really get that Caitlyn Bruce isn't all woke on this, so it's quite the different mindset.
I think it's like the old school gay dudes, how like they all started off just like, leave me alone and let me do my thing. And a lot of times you couldn't even tell. Maybe they were like firemen or they were whatever else. And they were just another dude that you saw. And nobody would ever have guessed because they weren't, talking with a fake lisp and they weren't, just looking the part. But they were like, okay, whatever. Like they probably got their ass beat growing up or something. Now they're jacked,
Yeah.
And it was that was them. And like now they're the most outspoken ones against just the whole pride corporate movement because everybody wants to be gay so they can have an identity because they're little boring trust fund kids. And now their parents are pushing it because their parents want to be accepted and like exalted in their communities too. So the more trans kids they have, the more social points they get. Look at Megan Fox, like all three of her sons are like cross dressers. So
right. So here's what JC was just talking about.
Can we take a little video? Hi, Mr. President. It is an
I hate their voice, dude.
Oh, why are you blacking it out? Okay, whatever.
Why do they exaggerate like all the little hand expressions so much more than like an actual woman would do? It's like Dylan Mulvaney, like he was just prancing around in his little videos and shit. I'm like, no woman does that. At least ones that have hit puberty.
What would you do if you were a trust fund kid? I don't know what that's in reference to, but are you talking about if I just had unlimited money? Who says
Yeah,
that?
I mean, just like rich, rich white liberal people that are like super rich and they can afford to, give their kids the nice training medicine when they're 8 years old.
Right.
I wouldn't know. I didn't have friends like that.
If I had the unlimited money like that, I think I would like build my own submarine, and then I would try to go down and see the bottom of like the Titanic, and then implode.
That's cool. What kind of What's your preferred game controller to use to navigate this crap? PS4, okay. But you're a trust fund kid. You can have a PS5.
Well, whatever. That's what my kids have. So fucking, it's the only one I actually knew. I didn't even know there was.
Come on, man. I have a 4 and I'm fucking broke. So like 4 is nothing. Now, me being the trailer park kid that I am, I'd break out the old Atari joystick. One button's all you need. Probably gonna launch torpedoes at the underwater Leviathan or whatever is down there. And then, hey, shut up.
Jesus Christ. I don't. There you go. I don't have video games. My kids do. I played Doom when I was in college because I was an engineer and it was kind of like forced on me, but I just enjoyed it. I knew it had all the God codes, but I just don't get into it. And you know, teach their own. That's fine. I get pussy. You guys get video games. Whatever. I get it. But
fair enough.
Yeah. What's your take?
I have a newborn, so video games it is.
Right. Well, no, you know what? You're completely right. You're like, well, one is out of commission, and I could sit here and hold my son and play video games. I'm totally down with that.
I can't even do that now. I gotta feed him every time I'm holding him because I kid eat so much. I have one video game that I play, Red Dead Redemption. Very cool cowboy western game.
Okay.
Why? I'm usually just like watching like YouTube, listening to music or something if I have him playing some loud metal and pissing everyone off. You're supposed to play nice music for the baby. I'm like, I am.
Here's my take on kids. So as someone who has 4 of them.
Bean says hi.
Okay. What's up? Now, my kids all now, they've gone into like country music and that's fine. But what I did was I indoctrinated them heavy with my music when they were young. So it's always part of them. And then they've gone and discovered their own music from there. But they always have a connection with me and my music, which is great. And it's fine. So now I kind of learned some things from them rather than them going on in their lives, learning their own music and then hating everything you've got. So I just say that as a point. My son comes home. He's got his Pink Floyd shirt.
Yeah.
We've got connections with that. He's gone to Muse concerts with me. But once again, they like their stupid country music, and some of them like Eminem, like their mom, and I hate Eminem with a passion. Porcupine Tree, yeah, I'm a fan of Porcupine Tree. Sorry,
I like old country. I really don't like new country whatsoever. I mean, you got the neo-traditional country like Coulter Wall or somebody like that plays the old school style now. What is this?
This is Porcupine Tree.
Hell yeah. There we go.
Anyway.
I dig it.
Yeah.
One new country guy I really like now is Jackson Dean. He's from North Carolina, near where I'm from. And he's got his voice sounds a lot older than he is. He's got an old school sound to him. It's pretty cool.
My son's going to a country concert with my daughter in San Diego like this next month. And I'm trying to remember what his name is. He's big time now. He's from Tennessee. He's been on a break due to, I think it's rehab, but he's been getting healthy.
What's he look like?
I don't know. But Andy knows who it is, and I don't.
Tennessee and rehab sounds like Jelly Roll.
Right.
Andy grew up with him.
Why didn't you call it Kinsella as being an Eminem fan? Because
Zach Brown?
When he was on my show, I wasn't going to do that. I've seen Zach. No, it's not Zach Brown. And I've seen Zach Brown in concert. By the way, we went and saw Zach Brown before COVID in San Francisco, and it was a 3 combo. It was Doobie Brothers, Zach Brown, and then the Eagles, and in that order. And Zach Brown totally killed it that night. I mean, the Eagles were pretty cool because they're the Eagles, but Zach Brown was just way better. Some bitch poured a beer all down my back. Nothing's worse than getting a beer poured on your back at the Giant Stadium. Have I seen Porcupine Tree live? No.
I just saw Ed Sheeran live about a month and a half ago in Tampa. That was cool. That's not like I'm not into Ed Sheeran, but I mean he's good. He's my wife's favorite artist, so it was kind of congrats on pushing the baby out trip. That was pretty cool. He's rocking the place pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's Jelly Roll, David. I think it was.
What's Jelly Roll?
He's a fat country rapper dude that Andy grew up with in Nashville.
Country rap. That sounds. Did you know?
I'm really not a fan of Jelly Roll, but he's cool though. Like, it's not my thing.
Justin Timberlake's from Tennessee. That's what you got with Andy there. David poses a good question here, and we should probably go through this. Gilmore or Waters? Now, politics or music?
Okay, music. I like Gilmore's guitar a lot.
His voice, his guitar, hands down. It's not even close.
Yeah, Gilmore and music. Waters has better politics because Gilmore's a normie, but I really don't give too much of a shit because I don't listen to David Gilmore's freaking Ukraine podcast or whatever. I listen to him, rock the place at age 70 or whatever age he is.
So yeah, as an example, this is how it's easy for me is there's Roger Waters solo albums, which he's not playing old Pink Floyd stuff, and then there's either new Pink Floyd or David Gilmour because there's David Gilmour solo stuff too. Which would I prefer to hear? It's not even close. Roger Waters, like Money, bores me to death. I just am not a fan of Roger Waters in Pink Floyd was great. I'll hands down, I'll give you that. But David Gilmour is, I don't know, his voice is better. His guitar playing is what I like, because who cares about the bass? Almost anybody can play bass. But I love Roger Waters in Pink Floyd, but David Gilmour solo as a creative person, yeah, it's not even.
Well, I mean, yeah, the thing about bass. However, an elite bass player makes an amazing difference.
Okay, so like Flea or something. Well, by the way, I can't. That's two groups I can't stand. My wife and I are at least on agreement. She loves Eminem. I hate him. But what's who's Flea with? What group is that? Why?
Well, like Geezer Butler on Black Sabbath, he had a really nice bass. He's one of the better. I mean, obviously Lemmy played bass, but he didn't play it like anybody else played it. I like Nate East. He played bass for Eric Clapton for a long time, and he was pretty funky.
Why am I missing up? What's the band that had Flea and the other guy, and they were gay with each other, and they're horrible? Come on, people, help me out here.
I have a dog hair in my drink. Oh well.
Who cares about bass? Says Jameson. Boo Tyler. Time is way better than money. Yeah, I'm not a fan of. Okay, fine, whatever. All of that. Yeah.
Do you like Have a Cigar?
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Thank you. I hate them. If it comes on the radio when my wife are in there, we mutually agree to turn it off. Thank you. And sorry, what was that?
Do you like Have a Cigar?
I've only had like one or two in my life.
No. Sorry, the song Have a Cigar.
Oh, is that a country song? It sounds like a country song. Have a cigar
and like song. It's like one of their best songs.
Who?
Pink Floyd.
Oh, I guess I don't know the name of the song.
Look it up, dude. It's
okay. We'll check it out.
It's such a good song.
Have a Cigar.
Yeah, check
is
it
that
out.
What it's called?
Yeah, Have a Cigar. It's on the which album is it on? I think it's on The Wall. Hang on, I'm gonna sound like a retard.
It's definitely not on The Wall.
It's on The Wall. Is it on?
It's on.
It's on Dark. I Wish You Were Here.
Yeah. So here's my problem: is I know a lot of like songs. I don't always know their names.
Yeah.
Wait, why is this playing?
Is this live?
The song I wanted.
No, that's not that. Yeah.
That's not the one I wanted. Yeah. So you're a fan of Pink Floyd, right?
Yeah, I like them. Yeah. Big fan. I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I like them. Get to the beginning.
I love the song.
Had a nice little funky bass there. I love this song.
I don't want to get us nuked here. Yeah, I do, but I don't always know. So here's the thing.
You didn't know that.
Wish You Were Here. David.
Okay.
David says that. I don't think that's from The Wall. I know like bands and albums and like years that they did it. Like I hear a song, I'm like, I know the band. I could probably tell you the album and maybe the year. I'm good with that. You play a song and it's like I don't really know the lyrics. My wife thinks if a gun to the head or for $10 million she can out lyric someone. Okay, and she's really damn good at it. Except for if she gets drunk, she can't.
Okay,
that's just we're different in that way. but I didn't know the name of the song. What do you want me to do about that?
All right. Is Pink Floyd your favorite band?
That's a really good question.
Who's your favorite?
I don't know. It comes and goes. Muse. I'm a real big fan of Muse.
Okay.
And then it just like from what genre? I mean, I have
Gotcha. Like rock.
I had
rock and metal or whatever.
Let me give you some background for me. Okay. I grew up from a young age, forced to take piano lessons from age like 5 all the way through college. So I was classically piano player, right? Classic piano. But what I liked from that the most was groups that had piano, like the gayest stuff you can imagine. I had 2 older sisters too, so I was really influenced by this until I really got in. Like Muse, I love because Bellamy is an amazing pianist without any kind of training. But you know, this is embarrassing, but like Barry Manilow, some of the stuff, some of the gayest stuff, but with good piano. Toto, as an example, I was a big fan of that, and so I've got a wide breadth of music tastes. But yeah, Muse is U2, Muse, and then a lot of this 80s new wave stuff, Depeche Mode, New Order, those kind of things too. So it's pretty gay if you think about it. Matt once in Vegas. Okay, cool. And if you don't like Tool, you're dead inside. I do like Tool. You aren't admit enough to how good U2. U2 is good. What do you think of U2?
U2 is good. I don't listen to a ton of them, but I like them. They're cool.
Okay. What's your favorite band now that we talk about it?
Oh, like 100% Black Sabbath by far.
Okay.
100%.
And so do you listen to that often?
I do. I'll listen to Black Sabbath probably the most, or Ozzy, both of them. But I do like Dio a ton. I love the Dio albums. I think he was a better singer than Ozzy, but he's not Ozzy, so that's why I didn't take off as much. But yeah, I like Black Sabbath a lot. They're my favorite. I like Pink Floyd a lot. I listen to them a ton too. What do you think about Ted Nugent?
Let me just answer this real quick here. David says, never listen to U2 or Nickelback. First of all, there is some Nickelback, even though it's poppy, there's some good stuff there that I really enjoy. And then I put on my True Religion jeans and I just really, really rip down and love it. U2, you've got to check out Joshua Tree. It is their best. War is great, which was before their Boy was, so those are also good. But Joshua Tree is just hands down some of the best stuff. Rattle and Hum, which incorporates a bunch of stuff, and it's a live album. And my cousin went to the one thing that was in Phoenix or Tempe. It was in Arizona. It's the only portion of that movie that's in color. He was there. That's my little claim. But they have really good music. And what I think is amazing about a group like U2 is you get all these groups that fight over the time. They have drug problems. U2 was not that. They had their other issues of social stuff, but they were good, clean guys. And there's a reason why they've been together for so many years, because all but their bass player was religious, and they were kind of, whatever, they're mix it in there. Ted Nugent, I love his hunting. He was okay with the music. He was also an interesting guy that when you listen to him, he talks about how he never indulged in alcohol or drugs. He was a clean guy too. Yeah, very
he just
clean.
Now started drinking because he just grows his own grapes, so he makes his own wine. He's like, that's the only thing I've ever done.
And
17-year-old girls.
Sammy started saying, hey, why don't you try some of my Cabo Wabo whiskey or something like that?
Okay.
Or tequila. So there was some of that. So I think that's an interesting thing. And then, by the way, what do you think about artists that feel like they need to be hammered or high to really produce stuff? Do you think that's a true thing, or that they would have actually been much better if they would have been clean and sober?
I mean, you already know I'm an Ozzy and Black Sabbath fan, so you can probably guess the answer. But as an artist myself who has to be hammered and under the influence to do better, supposedly.
How do you know that, though?
I get it. I don't fucking know. It's just a thing. I think it's mostly the status quo, and it's what you're used to. So look at Motley Crue, for example. I mean, until they all went to like a temporarily sober for a little bit because they were just way out of control. I mean, they were making some bangers and they were just letting loose and doing their thing. So I think they were just used to the status quo of just being coked up and fucking strippers and, drinking Jack Daniels on stage all the time, that they didn't know any better than that. So they probably assume like, oh yeah, I do my best stuff. You know, like Black Sabbath and Ozzy. I mean, their first few albums, they were constantly, you know, on cocaine, and they were cranking out single take albums all at once. Like Paranoid, they did all of it in one take as if they were doing a live show. And you know, I mean, obviously it bit them in the ass because they had to fire Ozzy because they were all just doing way too much drugs, especially him. But I think they just get used to their early success, and that's what they believe their status quo is what propels them, and they don't get used to doing it clean. Maybe they do it for different reasons. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. I mean, look, you never know what people. I get it. They're tapping into something, but at some point, you know, I don't know if you ever heard about some of these bands. Like they go on the road and they're so hammered out, you know, drunk on stage, they can't like actually perform. And you see them live, and it's just like a mess. So there's got to be something to say for not being completely under the influence to be able to produce an album. Or as an example, I'll just say Muse as an example. Their bass player, he had a bit of a drug and a drinking problem. Okay. And so he would just come in and he would perform. He was good on stage. They're like, that's fine. And suddenly he decided to get clean. And they say they're in studio doing albums, and he's like all of a sudden attentive, and he's given input, and they were confused as to why he's suddenly involved and giving good feedback that he had never done before. So, you know, there's certain things, and he wrote 2 songs on, I'm trying to remember which album, but anyway, they actually got on the album that he did. So, there, you know, there's things like that where you're like, you're perfectly fine, you're good, but maybe you can reach more of your potential without being such a piece of shit. I don't know.
No, yeah, I agree. Like, get down. I think that it's definitely not sustainable. You can only, you know, hit the booze for so long before you're gonna lose your creativity. And I think it does make you a little creative because you're just doing whatever. But you're definitely gonna be better when you're used to being clean and sober. Like the example I gave earlier with Motley Crue. If you see them like recently, they're horrible. Like you can't understand what Vince is singing. I think Mick Mars, they fired him and he's suing them because he was the only one who was actually playing and singing live. He was the only one who was not using a backtrack at all times anyways. Like even throughout their prime, I know Nikki Sixx was not the one playing bass on stage. Or he was for a while, but after a while it wasn't him. It was a recording, and that wasn't even him on some of the albums. That was somebody else.
Crazy.
And unbeknownst to him, put a different bass sound into it. So yeah, it's pretty whack.
I got some things here. David says Rush seems like the Ayn Rand of music to me. Possibly.
Yeah.
And he also said, you know, loving prog rock. He just can't get into Rush. I'm there with you. I've tried multiple times to get into Rush. There's a few songs I really like. I think they had a great influence. I just personally, and they're like, I'm a libertarian. I should love this, and I can't. But David, go listen to my week of Tom Woods. I play several snippets, clips from Brad Burchard and some other ones about prog rock stuff. So you might like that. What else?
So are you like me in the fact that you're more indifferent than a hater of Rush? Because I was talking to Lorenzo about this today, or not today, but a while ago, and like that's a very polarizing band. He loves them, and a lot of people can't stand them. I enjoy them, but it's like whatever.
Music is so personal to everyone, and that's what I mentioned earlier. Like some of the complete gay shit that I like. But there's a reason for it, which is like this Barry Manilow, an amazing pianist. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there, and gay as you can be, but I grew up with some of those things, and that's just I have a penchant for loving some of the piano stuff. So you know, music is very personal. Now, with that said, Eminem is a piece of shit, and no one should listen to him or like him. But other than that, I completely agree with you. I don't hate Rush at all. I mean, you have to say Neil Peart was an amazing drummer, and if you can't, you know, take that in and love that, then for what it is, then you know, screw you. Bee Gees, a prime example. Bee Gees, they got into the you know, disco stuff, and they became a big hit with that. Perfectly fine, and then disco went out of favor, and so did the Bee Gees. So what did they do? They started writing music for everybody. If you look in the 80s, their fingers are all over number one hits. but they wrote them for other people. So they're like, fine, we're not going to be the people that you like. Well, then you're going to just like our music anyway, and you didn't know it. So it's kind of interesting.
Thank you, Magoo. Our Facebook friends are wrong about Tyler and Dickie.
Right. I can't believe I came out with my Barry Man. I don't really care. Tyler being raised on Barry Manilow, it does explain a lot. What else we got here? Rush Rules from Jameson, who's actually a Grimace. Yes, I appreciate that. Lorenzo likes the synths, apparently. Yeah. But by the way, this is my point about everything, which is everyone has their own personal stuff. And it's so funny. Like Scott Horton will like block you if you say, is it that you like Metallica or dislike Metallica?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't think Metallica was that bad. Block.
Right. Which I understand. I do appreciate that with my hatred of Eminem. I've had more marital fights over that simply because I want to troll my wife and friends about that, and they get so worked up. It is funny to see how people get so worked up about that. What's a band or a group you hate the most?
Well, I was gonna say the only fights I have with my wife about music are it's always her instigating. She always hears something I play and she just hates on it. Like she doesn't. 99% of the music I like, she just hates on it. I'm like, hey, I don't hate on your music. I didn't complain. We went to see Ed Sheeran. You know, like I don't hate on One Direction, even though I don't like them whatsoever. Like she likes them too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, whatever. Jonas Brothers, cool, good for you. That was cool when I was 13. You know, man, I'll be like jamming out to like Black Label Society while I'm on the couch feeding my son, and she's like, that's not relaxing music. I'm like, yeah. Ask him. He ain't complaining. He ain't crying. Kid's gonna be a badass when he's 3 years old.
Right. I know people do hate Metallica. We're getting some of that in here. I like their early stuff, and their live with the San Francisco Symphony was really good. I mean, there's certain look, Lars. I get it with all the Napster. Do you remember that? You know, there's some hate.
The wrong guy died on the bus crash.
Right. I guess so. Speaking of that, Randy Rhoads, you were a big fan of Black Sabbath. Randy Rhoads was a guitarist. He has an ill-fated death. What do you know about that story? Because I do know a bit about it.
The story, I don't know much about the story, actually. I do like Randy Rhoads. I think that was probably the most talented guitarist Ozzy ever had. And I love Tony Iommi and I love Zakk Wylde, but Randy was a fucking savage. So RIP. Sorry. Go ahead with the story. I'm not super familiar with all the details.
I will give you, because I reviewed it a few months ago. The idea is
I wasn't alive yet too, so
right. Okay, they were traveling in a bus, and I think Randy Rhoads was coming out of he was more in a sobriety thing, and he'd given some talks to Ozzy about, hey, get your shit together. Yeah. And they were traveling on the bus. They pulled over and they stopped at some farm that one of the guys I think knew, and this farm had a plane. Okay, it was like someone's little Cessna. The bus driver also flew planes, and he was like, "I'm gonna fly this plane," and so he takes it around. And he buzzes the bus, and people kind of freak out. And then he's gonna take another trip. Randy Rhoads goes up there. He didn't want to get in the plane, but for some reason he went up there, I think, and then there was a photographer on the ground taking pictures, and he said that Randy Rhoads was freaked out. I don't know why he got in this. But the pilot was a little sketchy. Like I said, he'd already buzzed the bus. Some people were in there. They woke up with the buzzing of the bus. They come out. He's coming out. The photographer's looking. I think he took some pictures. And he said Randy Rhoads was fighting physically with the pilot. He could see them coming at the bus. They missed the bus. They hit a tree and explode, or the barn. But anyway, that's the sad part. Tyler,
I didn't realize all those
Fair to Midland. Is that a rating system for women? What is that? Maybe I don't know that.
I like Jake Lee. He was one of Ozzy's guitarists. He's pretty underrated. Nobody really knows much about him, but he did a few albums. I know his best one probably was The Ultimate Sin, but he was a good guitarist. But yeah, it's a shame Randy Rhoads. I didn't realize all the details of that story. I just thought he just died in a little fucking small plane crash thing.
Yeah, so totally unavoidable. Totally avoidable.
Yeah, like Mr. Crowley, that's one of the craziest solos. Like, so many notes in that.
Yeah. So look, that's the reason why I'm a fan of Muse as an example, which is I love Matt Bellamy's guitar playing. I think he's one of the most talented, and he's a ridiculous person on the piano. So when you get that piano thing going, like I said, I keep going that over and over. What do we also, Green Day? Are you a fan of Green Day? I'm not a big fan of Green Day.
Not really a fan. I mean, they're okay. What do they got? They got
American Idiot.
American Idiot. Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Pantera was a group back in my day.
Oh yeah,
but
they got Zach Wild too now.
Yeah,
Zach Wild was just playing with them. I like them.
Nirvana. So look, what was your take? And we'll go through the years of music here. This is kind of our fun thing. What did you think of like the grunge stuff? Now, for you weren't born yet. I understand, but what's your take on grunge? And then what's your take on like hair metal?
I'm not into grunge too much. I like Alice in Chains, that's cool. Everybody likes them, right? Who doesn't?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not huge into 90s stuff, right? It's like 90s, right?
Yeah, the 90s. So for me, growing up, 80s, 90s, you had the hair metal bands, which to me, they always were annoying.
Yeah.
They were so effeminate. It just grossed me out. And some of their music was okay, but I was just kind of like, why do they have to look like women? So it was always a problem. Suddenly you've got like hard rocking people similar, but
they're all fucking bikers and shit.
Now they wore flannel and jeans. Cause I'm talking about the transition.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, this was interesting to me. I'm like, they don't look like women.
The grunge guys?
Yeah.
Now they look like lesbians.
So I was instantly pulled into, and then I lived in Washington at the time, and it was nearby all that stuff. So I got really sucked into everything. It was fantastic. That's my take on that. I'm trying to remember.
That's honestly, from what I've seen, that's a big bridge between people who don't really like classic rock whatsoever, but that's kind of their entry into that. Like a bunch
Sorry, what?
With they're black dudes, they like hip hop and stuff, but they really like grunge change, or like whoever else, 90s grunge people. So it is kind of a funny a bridge that they provide there. You cut out for a second. I don't know if it's your connection.
I don't know if it was you or me that we were breaking up there.
Yeah, there is a little thunderstorm right now, and my dog's freaking out, so it could be my internet.
Okay. There was I'm trying to remember the name of it. I have the album, but I don't have my phone with me right now. A 1990s movie, Singles. That's what it was. It was 1992, a movie called Singles. It had the guy, when Something About Mary. He had the real big teeth. No, Dylan, Matt Dillon, maybe that was his name. He was in it, and it had such good grunge, early grunge music. It was fantastic. So that was kind of my first thing there. David
never listened to Pearl Jam. Okay,
never listened to Pearl Jam. That's weird. Yellow Ledbetter. I really like that one. It's Dickie's End. Weather is rough in Florida at this time of year.
It's pretty bad. So my neighbor the one neighbor I'm really close with, he used to do a lot of Pearl Jam covers. He had a band, and he used to play in the bars and stuff. And that was his thing. So that's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, I used to love a lot of those. Temple of the Dog, Mother Love Bone. Anyway, good stuff for me. A lot of those people died of heroin overdoses. So solid times there. That's what we have. Okay, let's see if we have anything else going on here. I was going to put, I didn't really have anything else.
We can talk about the fucking aliens and the other things that have been popping up.
Well, let's finish off this. No, I don't know what's going on there. What are you talking about?
There's aliens in Vegas, bro.
No, I don't know anything about
Gray aliens, mantis-looking dudes. Yeah, I think one of the videos was CGI, but there was another video that was a little different. It was like a cop body cam thing, and apparently there was like a UFO landing somewhere in Vegas, which would be a good spot for aliens to land, considering there's a lot of activity in Utah and Nevada. You got Skinwalker Ranch and things like that. And so, Vegas being a huge ball of light in the middle of a desert would be a nice target to land a UFO, I'm sure. So I have a whole lot of theories about the apocalypse with aliens and everything else that my wife hates me for. It's pretty interesting. I have to go into it sometime.
Okay. Do you know the song "Heaviest Matter in the Universe"? Minder's really pushing me to play that. I don't know what it is. I could check it out. I don't know anything about it. Do you?
I do not. Let's check it out.
Okay. Let's see if I'll try to find it here. What's it called? The heaviest matter in the universe. What is the heaviest matter in the universe?
My left nut right now.
Yeah, you gotta use the restroom or something. Okay, let's take a look at this, people. This is the debut.
No, I have a
get
newborn.
struck off this.
Somewhere Travis is having an orgasm.
I don't know that isn't Gura what the Asian guy calls Godzilla in the 2014 movie? Maybe. Okay, I will check that out at some other point. By the way, you check my new shirt here. Let's see it. If you could see it.
I was going to say something like grunt style. Yeah.
Delta
India Lima Foxtrot. Hell yeah.
Dill.
That's right.
I think
pretty soon it's going to be golf India Lima Fox. You're going to have golf at the top of it pretty soon.
My son, for Father's Day, he gave me this shirt, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Why are you giving me a DILF shirt?" But he thought it was so fun. He's 16, and he just thought it was the funniest thing, and he bought it himself. And so I'm like,
"You got a cool son."
Right? He just got. I think I posted in there Gretsch or something guitar last night. So
yeah, I got a Gretsch. Yeah, that's a nice
Gretsch.
guitar he's got.
Yeah. He's got his own job. He, by the way, if you're here in California, Northern California, and you go into an Olive Garden, this 16-year-old may be your chef. He is a chef at Olive Garden. It's the craziest thing ever, but he knows his meat temperatures and he does a good job. So I'm proud of him.
That's pretty cool. I'm very proud because I worked at a young age too. Like stuff like that is really cool. I didn't have the most independence because I had a much younger brother. Like I had a baby brother at like age 14, so I had to babysit him a lot. So I wasn't able to work full time as much as I wanted to. But that was one thing I wanted to do with, like, at least with my son, give him the means to work as a child. Like, fuck child labor laws. Like, hey, look, you want money? Like, do whatever you want, bro. Like, be as independent as you want to be. Like, early on, that's pretty awesome.
I will say, our kids kind of all suck at home working. But they've all had jobs right around 16, and they're doing great. And it is the transformation of the child when they have a job is an amazing thing. I can't tell you what it does, because they want to work, they make money, our kids all do well. My son is just out in Ohio right now. He's in nursing school, and he did a big internship he got out there. Everyone's working, they're all doing good, they're supporting themselves, and we help, and it makes you want to help them more. But their attitude on everything is just it's phenomenal. So I encourage that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like my parents did that, they didn't have a ton of money either, so I was either putting a lot of my money towards like college or whatever else, but they were always like, look, we're not going to give you stuff, but we're going to give you every opportunity to go to work and get opportunities. Like whatever you want to do, like we'll drive you or we'll help you get a letter of recommendation if we know somebody or stuff like that. Like that to me is cool. Yeah,
absolutely. Jose said the tinfoil hat episode just dropped. I'll check that out. And along those lines, David says since 14, he's bought his own car, for cell phone, buying all his own clothes. That's fantastic. You know, I do take care of my kids' insurance. I always give them money for gas. I just transfer money for gas because I don't have to then do it. And my time, I always think of everything on billable hours. And I'm like, 40 minutes, you drive, you're taking care of it. And once again, it's they bought their own cars. So anyway, that's just where we're at in life. I think it's good to make people, kids do that. You're responsible, man. You've got a child now.
Responsible man. Yeah, it's a stretch, bro. But I do have a child. That one of those things is true. Yeah, I really miss him right now, man. He's in North Carolina with my wife, but he's getting big. He's got a big ass fucking Nephilim head. It's like 97 percentile. He just hit 12 pounds. I think he's like almost 12 and a half pounds now. Yeah. He's like 7 weeks old now.
How many months old?
7 weeks.
7 weeks. Jeez, that's really young. So is in any like eye recognition, or is it still kind of all glassy eyed?
Yeah, he I mean, he crosses his eyes a lot like babies do, but he like a couple weeks ago he started, you know, he'd look at you and smile. That was really cool. Like seeing him smile for the first time when he actually like recognizes you.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think that was a thing such early on. I thought it was going to be like a 2-month-old thing. But yeah, that's a really, not to get faggy, but that's a really cool thing when your baby starts smiling at you like purposefully.
Right.
They're not just shit themselves.
Right. And you realize it's not just gas. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh yeah. And that's cool. Yeah. I got a lot of pictures of it and shit. Yeah. So
no, so
a lot of things that I didn't care about now, like before it was like, okay, a baby, big fucking deal. Now it's like, oh yeah, his first little smile, like dumb shit like that. It's super cool.
And it's fantastic too. And so are you the oldest of like 4 kids or how are you in the?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Okay. And how old are you?
25.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone else, you're the first one to have kids in of all your siblings?
Yeah, I am. My brother, he's 23. He's about to turn 23. He's getting married next Saturday. So I'm going to North Carolina for that.
And did you enjoy your childhood growing up?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for the most part, it was all right. You know, it was cool.
Oh no!
Why are you asking me that? Well, it's like, how much did you get beat? Well, I mean,
no. I mean, look, my parents, my mom didn't hold back in spanking. My dad was like 6'2". Oh, he's shrinking a little bit. He's like 6'2", big guy, and I can't remember a time he ever spanked me. But
lucky you.
My mom would say, when your dad gets home, and that was enough to scare me. So somehow she would overdo it. And I was never scared of her, and she spanked me all the time, and he never did, and I was scared of him. But he was a gentle man. My point is, when someone was like, "Oh, you're gonna have my first kid," I was like, I remember thinking, I really enjoyed growing up. Like I loved my parents, and I had a good time. Having a child just seems like a good thing. And by the way, it's been great. I mean, there's trials and tribulations, obviously, but 4 kids, and it's been fantastic. So that's why I asked that question. So, sometimes you have traumatic experiences and you overcome it, but it sounds like you had a good experience with siblings. You can have more?
More kids. Yeah. So we want to, max is probably 3. So it's like, we're going to see on number 2, if it's a boy or a girl. If it's a girl, probably that's it. If it's a boy, we're going to try for, a girl on the 3rd try. I actually kind of wanted a girl at first. Like I was cool with either one because I was like, obviously you want a son because dudes rock and women suck. But like an older sister when they, when they're like 12, 13, 14 and they have a younger brother or younger sister, like they are willing to accept responsibility as far as babysitting and just helping establish like a pseudo motherly role,
Yeah.
Like earlier on than a boy would. He's going to kind of want to do his own interests and stuff, and girls take on a different responsibility. So with that line of thinking, I was totally fine with a girl first. I mean, I've got the pictures of the gender reveal, and blue confetti pops out, and you can see my wife's face is like, oh. So she wanted a girl. But we want to have 2 to 3 total. And like my relationship with my parents, especially with my mom, was really good. My my dad, my dad was good too. He was a coach. He coached me in basketball a little bit. So it was cool. Like he knew basketball very well. He coached basketball and soccer, but like basketball was his thing. So when I played basketball in high school, he would always he would break the game down after every game I had. And it was kind of cool having that time. Shit like that. But there's a lot of things like with my son, I want to do with him more that my parents didn't do with me. Like they weren't the cool parents. They were a little older. Like my dad was 30 when he had me and I'm the oldest. So, shit like, my own interests, guns and music and other things like that.
Yeah.
I want to kind of impart on my kids, and kind of, I'm a little younger too than my dad was. So it's like, I can hopefully be more involved with their stuff, stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if anything ever goes as planned, but that's kind of what I want to do.
No, it never goes as planned, but all you can do is just be involved. And then, my only other suggestion is the kids will have friends. You don't need to be their friend. There's that point where they switch over from being, you're the parent. They're always going to ask you for advice where you don't really need to be that parent anymore. You just kind of give them, hey, here's how I do my investing or what it is. And you're more that friend with them. It's a good time. So,
I think like when they're older, you can be their friend, when they're like 17, 18, maybe. Cause I was never my dad's friend. Like now it's a little different cause I'm a dad. So it's kind of like he softened up cause he's got a grandkid now. But like, for example, like he never really drank. All right. So like we had a bunch of alcoholics in our family. So like my parents, they skipped a beat with that one. And then it went to me. So I was talking to my wife about it. Like, oh yeah, it'd be super cool to like, have a beer with your kid or whatever. When they're like 16, 17, like on Sundays you're watching NASCAR or something like that. I never got to do things like that with my dad, just like certain stuff. He wasn't like I was big into guns my whole life. Like I had uncle, friends and stuff. My dad wasn't super into that. He didn't really hunt or anything. So that was like another thing. Like shit, I'm gonna take my kid shooting when he's 5. Like I don't care. Like he's gonna grow up with that shit. So
yeah, there's
little things here and there.
Right. It's fantastic. And by the way, so I was the youngest of 3 kids, 2 older sisters. And I was like, I want a son first. And we had the son first and then the daughter second. And then I married my wife and I know it was like 2 kids is fine. And then I get remarried and she has 2 kids and 4 is, by the way, it's not only doable, it's fantastic. So I'm so glad that this happened with me. Let's go to some people are a car time with your dad is invalued time. I absolutely, some of my greatest things hearing my dad was a scout for the 49ers. They didn't know it, but that's, he just studied it as if he was. So it was unbelievable the stuff he had.
My dad with basketball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you never know. Like I was kind of thinking this too, like, you never know what you'll say to your kid or to somebody in general that they're going to retain. Like my dad, he would say certain things here and there. He probably didn't even think I was going to remember the next day. And it's like stuck with me forever,
I remember just sitting around with my dad and his friends and like my uncle, and they would just tell stories or they grew up in a small town, the same town I grew up in, but it was even smaller then. And they would shit with the sheriff in town, just the stuff they would do with their hot rod cars. And I'm like, anyway, it was pretty good. My dad taught me to stick weld off car batteries, invaluable. That sounds like it. And even this part, I chat with my mom for hours, says David. Same here with me. I mean, that's
usually how it goes when you call mom. You call her for 2 hours, 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
That my mom gets me to be on my best behavior. I don't think I've ever cussed around my mother. Like I clean up my language and my whole overall act around her because she's very sweet and innocent. It's like, but when I talk to her, you can talk for 2-3 hours at a time, like forever. And that was really cool. Also seeing her hold, her grandchild for the first time. She came a couple weeks ago, and she was kind of upset because my brother Ryan, who used to live with us, he got to see Theo first. And my mom wanted to be the first one, but she was super happy to see him. That was pretty cool.
I will call my mom and she'll talk and then find them like, the phone's dying or something. I gotta, at some point you're done. Where my dad, I love it because I'm just like, you're like, boom, you got a topic and you're doomed and then you're out. And you're done.
I call my mom and I tell her I gotta go, and then an hour later we're hanging up. My dad, it's like, all right. I didn't even tell him I love him. I'm like, let it, bye. He hangs up. It's like faggot. I'm hanging up on your ass.
Although I must say, my the oldest son, he calls me and it's an hour phone call, and then I feel like I'm the bad guy because I'm like, oh, okay, well, I gotta go.
That's what you gotta do. That's what dads do. Like they don't give a shit if they're a bro. Like they're just like, all right, whatever. Dad wants to hang up. Okay,
Right.
cool. Made it easy on me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna have another kid. That's good stuff. Okay.
Yeah,
David,
at least one.
hit this, and then we'll take out here. I'll just be where I'm It'll just be where I am going outside to do a chore, and we chat for 30 minutes before I head outside. Yeah, that's good. My mom and I
especially when you
talk
go to
for
college, dude. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom and I talk for 2 hours once per week. My stepdad and I talk for 30 minutes once per year. What's your take on, cause look, I have 2 stepkids that they're mine. They haven't seen their dad in years. And then I have my 2 kids. What do you think of the Kyle Matovic thing where being a stepdad?
What did he say? That's cuck.
Yeah, you're technically a cuck. You're technically a cuck, and I'm like, well, if your wife has had sex with another man, she's technically a whore. So whatever. He didn't.
Yeah, I like. Okay, I never had a step parent. I obviously don't agree with that. That's his opinion. Whatever, he's cool. But
yeah, I don't care.
I think like based on the old school interpretation of the word, like the etymology or whatever, because it came from the cuckoo bird, and because it inhabited other birds' nests, and the other bird would raise their eggs and their children and stuff. I think that's where it came from. So like, yeah, if you want to be literal etymological, then sure, I guess that fits. But like, yeah, you know what you're talking about today. If you say somebody's a cuckold, somebody's a cuck, and like somebody's a stepdad, there's obviously a little difference there. So, I mean, look, especially nowadays with divorce rates the way they are, like chances are if you're in your 30s and 40s and you're getting into a new relationship, that lady probably has kids, or she's divorced, something like that. I mean, them kids need a dad too. That's all I gotta say about that. I don't, I'm sure it's not ideal, but the kids need a father figure, like whether it's you or the biological dad.
It is not ideal, and I totally get that. I came into this person's life, these 2 kids' life. They didn't have a dad. I mean, he was a piece of shit. He's drugs out, whatever. Mom's not going to stay around with that guy. And then I'm their dad, and you shape them into. I mean, they are just as much as my crazy kids as anything. So, yeah, it's what it is. I don't know. As a Christian as well, I think you take in these people and you help them out, and it actually it's fulfilled me. It's like an adopted pet. They say it's really helping me more than it is them. That time.
Who rescued you? Yeah, both of my dogs are rescued, so I get it. Yeah. So yeah, who said in the chat? I think the cook David said if the cook more as if you date a trashy single mom. Yeah, like if you're dating some like piece of shit woman who's got
let's specify
3 kids with 4 baby daddies, like we're talking getting married with like a long-term relationship with somebody that the deal going into it, like I'm sure how
dating,
you were.
I'm talking about marrying. Okay, David, I'm about marrying him. So
right.
dating them is
we're not talking about Tinder hookups when you put the kid to bed.
Right. That's perfectly fine. Those are the ones you idolize. Yeah, Novum said
you're their uncle, not their stepdad.
Right. Right. Anyway, it's what it is. Parenthood. I wish everyone the best at all this stuff. My point is, there's things you can do. Be a man. Take care of your family. Don't be that other person that turns your wife or your spouse or your whatever into a cuck. At some other point, you be that responsible person that's changes. And by the way, I'll just say real quick about the divorce rates. I've talked about this before. They've probably changed since I last looked at it. But they say all marriages, 50% of them end in divorce. The key takeaway from that is the people that get divorced get re-divorced. So you have third, fourth marriages.
Yeah.
And it's like there's like 75%
it's
of
not
all
50%
marriages.
of couples. Yeah.
No, it's 75% of those stay married, and then it's the 25% that just regurgitate and spin through, and they skew the stats. So it's a little bit misleading. Anyway, there we go.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Let me mute myself.
Okay.
Okay. But like to your point there, like my grandma, she'd been married like 6 times, so it's like like repeat offenders, like with crime and divorce, things like that. Like it happens like multiple times. So yeah, I understand that for sure.
And I'll also say what Minder says here: divorce rate is down. People are actually getting married less. Yes, I deal a lot with people that just have custody, cases that are never married. And by the way, so California, there other states are different. It's like 7 months, I think, in some Florida, as an example. If you want to do a divorce, you file for divorce. You could actually get a judgment within 7 days or like 30 days. California is 6 months, so that takes a while for that to actually be the case by statute, which means it's more difficult to get divorced. So if you're just a roommate with someone and you just want to move out and you happen to have a kid, okay, big deal. And I do think that that's good that even if it's a state, they make it a little more difficult for you to split up because you got to take a little bit more stock and investment into this. So anyway.
JC, the actual Christian perspective on step marriage is way different than the fake masculine E-Trad caricature, which is rooted in insecurity. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit insecure to worry about another man's kids, that kind of point of view. I don't know if it's insecurity, but I don't think that way. Cause like they were saying, the Christian or biblical perspective, looking like the Old Testament and like the law basically was if your brother has a wife and you're single and your brother dies, the next brother, if he's single, the next single brother has to take that wife to take care of her, kind of a thing.
Right.
Especially if she had kids.
That's in the book of Hunter, right?
The book of Hunter. Yeah. Yeah.
He took his brother's wife.
Back when wives were 13 years old. Yeah. Was it Hunter?
No,
it was Hunter.
He took his brother's.
He was banging her.
His brother's. Okay.
Well, wasn't it like Onan in the Bible that got struck dead by God because he busted his nuts on his brother's wife on her back or something, but like didn't do it inside because he didn't want to take her for a wife. He just wanted to fuck her. So it was like, as an example, to show you're supposed to marry her and make kids with her. This is what you got to do.
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
That's a true story. It's in the Bible. What are you looking?
Yeah, no, I agree. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you've got coming up next and what you're going to produce in what live action show / Tower Gang pod or what.
Well, you can normally find me in the down in the pit at McGuire's Irish Pub in Pensacola, Florida. If I'm not there, I'm either in the bail bonds office or I'm on a forklift running Anheuser-Busch products out to places. If not, then I'm on Twitter at Pine_Barons. You will never find me on Tower Gang, probably. Hopefully, you will find me on Top's Conspiracy Show. I got to grift my way onto that one sometime and talk about the supernatural and all kinds of cool conspiracies. Because that's my, I wouldn't say it's my wheelhouse. I'm not an expert on that, but I'm very interested in that. So I'm happy to see him starting that show. But yeah, I haven't made a video in a while. I should probably make a nice little clip edit from the recent shows with Faceless and Owen Benjamin, things like that. So stay tuned. If I'm feeling motivated, we'll do something. I'm kind of busy being a deadbeat dad right now, though. So.
Yeah, you're being a dad, and you're by the way, you're always welcome back here. So thanks for coming on tonight. Everybody, check the Tom Woods. Well, yeah, right. Check the Tom Woods week out. There's a lot of good info. It may take you a while to get through, but I put it out. I think there's a lot of great info. Just humor me. It took me a lot of time to do. We're going to have another Kill Pod coming up. I don't know when that's going to happen. Andy, I didn't really talk about him. His mom put the kibosh on his internet. So that's a problem. What else? Follow us on all the platforms. Yeah, that's all I have.
Poor Andy.
So, he's not here tonight. There's a reason why he's not here tonight, because his mom won't let him get on the internet. So, okay.
Poor Andy. He'll be hollering at us on the phone later.
Right. He will be, but that's what it is. Okay. Other than that, see us on Top Lobster's Conspiracy Show. We are going to be guests on there at some point talking about what if Toad really is getting tons of pussy. That would be the conspiracy of the year. I don't know if I can handle it. Okay.
Not the way he's acting.
That's true. Bye. Bye.
Okay, I'm leaving now. Bye, guys.
But she's back.
And now.
Chick-fil-A is completely overrated. It's not that good. I prefer Zaxby's. I prefer Popeyes.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. And I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
Should I vote for Dick Cheney on the Libertarian Party? Do I have an obligation to vote for Dick Cheney?
I would say so.
Yes.
Did it work for those people?
No, it never does. I mean, these people somehow delude themselves into thinking it might, but it might work for us.
That one dude was like, not a podcast. I can't find it anywhere. And they don't have video.
Oh, yeah, Peter Janke. Yeah.
Yeah, I blocked him.
I'll do it. If he unblocks me, I'll...
He'll buy your shirt if you unblock him, Bert.
He's a wigger.
Yeah, nothing cooler than a 49-year-old wigger.
Like,
I just started live streaming. Cut me some slack. I'm pretty high tech for a boomer. But
For
anyways,
a boomer.